massive investment in higher education, not only for a small elite going to Harvard, but much broader groups if you want to keep growing. Now, in less developed countries, of course, the objective is not the same. The objective is to have high quality education first at the primary, secondary level, and you know, the priorities are not the same. But let me say very clearly that, you know, inequality is, you know, sometimes a problem for rich countries, but it is mostly a problem, you know, in poor and developing countries. You know, in countries, you know, in like India, country like China, and here the recipe, you know, comes with education, but also comes from other institutions. You know, more transparency. You know, you take a country like China. You were talking about corruption and sometimes bad government. You know, China is a country that, you know, has been doing very well, of course, better than India in the past 20 years, partly because of their higher investment in public infrastructure, education. But now we see that there is a, you know, a lack of transparency, opacity of the financial system that is, you know, contributing to financial instability in China. And more generally, you know, the recipes that have been used by China in the past 20 years, you know, are they going to be enough in the next decade, you know, to keep converging with the richest country? You know, I'm not so sure. I think, you know, if you want to fight corruption, you need much more transparency. China is a country where you have an income tax, but there's no income tax statistics. You know, nobody knows how many taxpayers are paying, you know, have income between 1 million, 5 million yuan, 5-10 million. You know, I think if they were to publish this kind of data at the local level, in many cases we will see that the system, the law is not being applied very well, and this will be a way to you know, put more trust in government, build confidence. So, you know, issues about tax havens that we were talking about before, these issues are even more important for countries that are developing in sub-Saharan Africa, where an incredible share of the resources of the country is just going abroad and never comes back, and largely because of a legal and international legal system that the rich countries contribute to defend and protect. And many of these countries, you know, they don't need aid. They would need a legal system, an international legal system, so that they are not being stolen money all the time, and the money coming out, you know, is much bigger than the supposed, you know, flows of aid that are supposed to come in.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you know, first of all, I very much agree with Tuma that, you know, you shouldn't blame these things on globalization and technology. You know, take the case of Switzerland. It's one of the few countries where income inequality has actually fallen in the last 10-20 years. Why? I mean, it's a very open economy. I mean, it's a high-tech economy. If it was technology and globalization, it should have become even more unequal. So the causes are different in different countries. I think in the US, the financial sector is actually quite important, because I mean, basically there has been what I call an unholy alliance between professional managers and floating shareholders, which basically pump out all the surplus into the pockets of these short-term shareholders, that in return for CEOs getting astronomical salary. The whole group